Tonight, we'll also celebrate a group of professionals from our region who have contributed significantly to our industry. In our history, the Ohio Valley chapter has honored nearly 60 active and retired TV professionals who have made significant contributions to the chapter, their community, the television industry, and its future. Tonight, we proudly welcome 4 new members to the prestigious Silver Circle Group, each of them having more than 25 years of professional accomplishments. To induct our first honoree, please help me welcome WCMH anchor Colleen Marshall.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to take a few minutes to tell you about Mike Bowersock. Mike was a longtime member of our NBC4 family who died suddenly and unexpectedly from a brain aneurysm earlier this year at the age of 56. First and foremost, Mike was a loving and devoted family man. His greatest joy, his deepest pride, was his wife Lisa and their 4 children, Clint, Tommy, James, and his Grace. Mike had a 32-year broadcast career. He joined us at NBC4 in the late 80s. He was there until 94, went to Detroit for 10 years, and then came back to us. He was a remarkable storyteller, and honestly, he never met a stranger. He believed every person he met had a story to tell, a story worth sharing, and over the years, we all benefited from that. Whether he was in Kuwait with the troops during the Gulf War or in a diner finding some quirky character who deserved a moment in the spotlight. But what I really want you to know is that every person who worked with Mike, from the photographers to the producers to the promotions department to his fellow reporters, we mourn him and we miss him. We miss his friendship, his sense of humor, the way he used to make himself laugh. So finally, if you will indulge me for just a minute, I want to read to you an intro to a story that Mike wrote on New Year's Eve, this past New Year's Eve, shortly after my former co-anchor Cabot Ray retired and before Mike Jackson joined me at the anchor desk. He would sometimes write intros and he'd say, make sure you check that intro. This is the intro he wrote for Ellie Merritt on New Year's Eve. Could Ohio State join a growing list of universities looking to rescind an honorary doctorate given to troubled comedian Bill Cosby? Good evening, I'm Ellie Merritt. Dwayne is off, Colleen isn't here, Mike Jackson hasn't started yet. Matt's going to take his place, but right now he's in Arizona with Jared. The boss is in Florida, Perlman called in sick. Half the producers are nowhere to be found this week. And Cabot? Well, you know that story. Boy, do you know that story. Mike Bowersock is live at OSU with this continuing story. Mike Bowersock left a hole in our hearts. I thank you for honoring him, and it is an honor well earned.
He was just a very genuine human being. What you saw is what you got. He was the same whether he was working, whether he was volunteering, whether he was with his family. Throughout his career, we got so many cards and letters from viewers and people who he had done stories with thanking him because they could tell that it wasn't just a story to him, that he really cared. That and also he made me laugh every single day. He was just so much fun to be around all the time. There were a number of stories he did with families who were suffering sort of some sort of a loss in their family or an ill child or something that really got to his heart. And he was also extremely passionate about the stories that he got to do from Afghanistan when he was embedded with the National Guard. That meant a lot to him to spend that time and to tell their stories. He carried their stories and their sacrifice in his heart. He really did. Serving others was very much a part of his personality too. It was something that came very naturally to him, and he didn't do it for him. He did it because it was the right thing to do, and he really instilled that in our children. I thought that it would be appropriate in accepting this to hear words from him. This is something that he wrote and posted on Facebook shortly after he left Channel 4, and he had just started a new job as a public information officer with the National Guard. Thank you for letting me into your homes, whether in person on what I'm sure was often a very difficult day for you, or on a TV screen late in the evening. For most of my time in TV, I felt like I was winning the lottery every day. Granted, some days I wasn't hitting all the numbers, but overall, I was very grateful. What a great way that was to make a living.
This award will go to Mike's family. His wife, Lisa, wanted me to thank all of you for this honor. Mike and Lisa always wanted to travel across the country. He had this crazy T-shirt collection. She is right now, tonight, going across the country with their children, and at every landmark, they're stopping and taking pictures of themselves wearing Mike's T-shirts, so he's still wrapped around them. And she wants me to thank you, and I do, for this honor.